Yo, what's going on, boys? How you guys doing today? Welcome back to the Steam 2 video. And in today's video, we're going to be taking a look at a Warlock build for the Grandmaster this week. This build is pretty much designed for you to be able to take advantage of the new modifier, the Arc Hunger, as well as pretty much be able to deal with all the champions that this strike throws at you. No matter what your teammates right up here are bringing in, you know, because those guys bring in some crazy things sometimes, you'll always be able to deal with every champion by yourself, and always make sure that you can secure the completion for your loot and also for your title. And this week, the only things that you're gonna need is gonna be a Version 0 pulse rifle. This thing is actually really good, and I've been seeing some people kind of suggest it in the comments, so they were using it in this build. And also the Getaway Artist. Now I know I'm a big fan of the Getaway Artist, but specifically in this strike is gonna be amazing. So as long as you have those two things, you're gonna be able to make this build work. And now let's just get into it. So first of all, let's start with our exotic weapon today. And today we have the Version 0, and I've been hearing a lot of people talk about this weapon this season, as well as some people commenting it on some of the previous build videos. But I finally used it this Grandmaster, and I gotta say, I am definitely impressed. This thing is fantastic, not only against normal enemies, but also at breaking barrier shields, since this thing does come with just built-in anti-barrier. And that affects both the normal pulse rifle mode, as well as the sniper mode. And the sniper mode specifically, once you have it charged up, it does some ridiculous damage against those barriers, so you can actually melt them really quickly with the sniper mode. But even just using this weapon normally as a normal pulse rifle, this thing is also going to be pretty amazing. And this is the road that I recommend that you guys run on it. 4 times the charm, so we get some ammo back, and also 4 pulse, so we can do some more damage against some of the bigger targets, like the champions. And for the mode, I definitely like it a lot more in heavy burst mode. It just feels much better and more accurate than the 4 burst, so that's the one that I would recommend. Now for the other weapons, we're pretty much just running the classic double grenade launcher, just so we can take advantage of those grenade launcher mods, and also just nuke any champion that we need to nuke, whether it's a barrier or unstoppable. The grenade launcher is gonna just deal with it very quickly. Now for the super, I'm gonna have 2 different choices. First of all, we have the Nova Bomb, and this one's gonna be if you wanna just nuke things out of existence. It is Void Surge, so the Nova Bomb is gonna be doing even extra damage, so you really can just melt some of the bigger enemies with the Nova Bomb. And since we're gonna be getting a lot of supers back, you also can spam this thing quite a lot. And the other one, the safety pick, is gonna be the Song of Flame. Song of Flame is fantastic in the GMs for staying alive, for reviving teammates, for just putting in some damage against some of the champions or bigger targets. So if you wanna be a little bit more on the safe side, then definitely go with Song of Flame. But both of these supers are going to work, and they're both going to work equally with the rest of the build. So go whichever you like a little more. For our class ability, you can go with whichever you want, but I did have Phoenix Dive, just because I like Phoenix Dive a little bit more in PvE. And for our grenade and our melee, we're going to have the Arcane Needle, so we can unravel targets, and we also have a lot of charges with it. And for our grenade, we have the Storm Grenade, and we just have this just so it can work with exotic, and so we can get the Arc Buddy, which is going to be the main way that we're actually going to deal with the Arc Hunger modifier in the strike. Now for the aspects, we have some pretty standard ones. We have Feed the Void. Whenever we get a kill with an ability, we're going to get the Devour. This is going to give us survivability, because every time we get a kill, we get health back. And it's also going to let us spam our grenade faster, since every time we get a kill, we also get some grenade energy. Now for the second aspect, we have the Bleak Watcher. And this is going to help us just freeze a bunch of targets, including those unstoppable champions. And this is actually going to be like the main way that we're actually going to stop the unstoppables. We're just gonna have so many Bleak Watchers out there that it's gonna be like the main way we do it. Not only we're gonna stop the unstoppables though, we're gonna be pretty much be stopping and freezing a lot of things, pretty much everything on the map. We're gonna be able to get so many of these out there, it's gonna be crazy. It's basically a combination of the power with the modifier in the GM that increases our ability regen that gives us so many grenades. Now for the fragments, we're going to have Faceted Protection, so we can get damage resistance whenever we're surrounded. After that, we have Faceted Ruin, so we can do some more damage with all the targets that we're freezing whenever they break out, or we shatter them, they just take more damage. After that, we have Faceted Sacrifice. Whenever we have an Arc, Solo, or Void buff, any final blows with our abilities will give us Darkness Transcendence energy. This is really good, and it's going to help us get our Transcendence back faster, since we are always going to have just some Devourer going. So we're always going to be getting that extra Transcendence energy, meaning that we're going to be able to pop Transcendence just much faster. After that, we have the Faceted Dawn. This just gives our weapon some extra damage, and this pretty much applies to all our weapons, and since we're going to be spamming our needles, this is always going to be on. And lastly, we're going to have the fast setup command. Whenever we suppress a target, it reloads our equipped weapons. This is going to be really good since we're always going to be freezing things, so it's always going to have reloading our weapons, and whenever we defeat some frozen targets, we get some stasis shards. So that gives us a bit of extra melee energy. Not that we're really going to need it, but it just means that we can spam even more abilities. Now for an exotic piece of armor, we of course have the Getaway Artist. This is going to make it so we get the Arc Buddy whenever we consume our grenade. And this is going to be great, not only because the Arc Buddy's always kind of good in PvE, it procs the Devour, and it also just continuously keeps getting kills, and those kills count as ability kills, meaning that we're going to get even more class ability energy without having to run an arc weapon. So we don't even have to have an arc weapon. The Arc Buddy by itself is going to be able to fill that meter and just continuously give us the buff, giving us that faster regen on all our abilities, as well as our super. So we're really going to be able to spam everything, and since we do have that increased regen, we're able to pretty much have the Arc Buddy up at all times. And every time we activate it, we're also dropping one of the stasis turrets, and that's what leads to us having just a ton of turrets out there, as well as just a constant Arc Buddy that just keeps reprocking the Arc Hunger buff, meaning that this is just a never-ending just ability spam build essentially. Now moving on to the artifact, we're gonna have the grenade launcher mods, because of course we definitely want to weaken, and we definitely want to reload our grenade launcher a little faster, especially if you don't have something that auto reloads your grenade launcher. You definitely want this. And for the stasis side of the build, you definitely want Brain Freeze, so you can slow even more things whenever you freeze something. And this one really takes advantage of the Bleak Watcher, since it's gonna be freezing a bunch of things. It can even just slow more things. You also want Surf Goal, just to get rid of more energy. And you also want Hail the Storm to increase our shatter damage even more, meaning that our shatter damage is gonna be a lot. But those are gonna be the main mods that you want to go for, and the ones that are basically gonna make the biggest impact on this. Now moving on to the armor mods, so this is what we're gonna have on the helmet. We're gonna have Kinetic Siphon, so we can make some orbs with our pulse rifle. We're gonna have Hands On, so we can get some super energy whenever we kill something with our melee. And lastly, we also want Radiant Light, so we can give our teammates armor charge whenever we pop our super. Since we're going to be using a lot of abilities, including our super, this is going to be pretty good. Now for our gauntlets, we're going to have Impact Induction, so we can get some grenade energy every time we hit something with our melee. And also Kinetic Loader as well, just so we can reload our pulse rifle a little bit faster. If you have just 1 point left over, you can just go with Fastfall, because you don't really have enough for anything else. But if you have to, you have Momentum Transfer that you can go with, which is going to help you get your melees back faster whenever you do some grenade damage. Next up on our chest piece, we're going to have the Resistance mods, and you definitely want 1 Concussive Dampener, 1 Harmonic Resistance, this is actually going to be like Void or Solar, and then you want to just choose whatever you don't have as your Harmonic. Since I was a Nova Bomb here, I would go with Solar, but if you were going with Solar, then you would choose Void instead, since your Harmonic would be the other one. For the boots, we have just the regular things, Orbs of Restoration, Absolution, as well as Recuperation, so we can heal with orbs and also get our abilities back faster whenever we pick up orbs. And lastly, for the class item, we have Bomber, Proximity Ward, and Reaper. We can make more orbs and have safer finishers, while at the same time also getting our grenade back faster. And with that, it's actually going to be the end of the build. Now you pretty much know about everything that's in this build, and you can take it into the GM. One thing that you want to keep in mind is that you want to just spam your abilities as hard as you can. Anytime that you get your grenade, you want to pop your Arc Buddy to refresh the timer on it, and also just drop another stasis turret. At points in the strike where there's a lot of ads, where there's a lot of like ad heavy areas, you can just start dropping so many just Bleak Watchers and just refreshing your Arc Buddy. It is crazy. So this is pretty much all about just spamming abilities. Sure, you are going to use your like grenade launcher and your pulse rifle, but it is going to be mostly about spamming those abilities, because these hunger modifiers are just way too good to pass up, especially if you have a very easy way of proccing it like we do with this build. We might as well just take advantage of it and just spam abilities to our heart's content. It actually kind of feels like Bungie is trying to like force a specific meta each week with the Grandmasters. Not like hard forcing the meta, but definitely like soft forcing it by encouraging us to use certain like types of abilities or weapons of like a certain elemental type. That's kind of what it feels like with these mods. I actually kind of want to hear what you guys have to say about these mods in the comments below. Do you like them? Do you not like them? All of that. But hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. Hopefully it helps you. Like always, there will be a link down in the comments below in the pinned comment. So if you guys want to use the build and take it into the GM, you'll be easily able to find it. Anyways, thank you all for stopping by. Thank you for watching. The support has been amazing like the last couple of months. So hopefully you guys continue to enjoy the builds as well as some of the other videos that I put out as well. So thank you all for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.